Hello, I'm Elena Percival, CEO and co-founder of Women Who Code. I'm thrilled for the opportunity to welcome you here today to celebrate 10 years of Women Who Code. 10 years of community supporting us to have stronger representation of diverse women in technology and leadership. Women Who Code started off as a small community of technologists in San Francisco back in 2011. We would meet, learn, build a sense of belonging and connections, and all of this resulted in engineering projects, career opportunities, and friendships. If you are wondering if you belong here, you do. I love this slide because the titles are actually from Connect attendees. And it's also inspiring because Catherine, who is a speaker at our conference in San Francisco, she met with one of our founding sponsors, Capital One, and ended up accepting a role with them as a senior technology director. Women Who Code's mission is to inspire women to excel in technology careers. This resonates with me deeply because there's never a point in your career, no matter how senior you are, that you stop needing support and community. In 2013, we formed the nonprofit that has become this global NGO because we firmly believe that people all over the world deserve to have access to this powerful community. Since then, we have grown to serve members in 134 countries. This growth took place in two phases. First, when we imagined it, we created the nonprofit. And then when we reimagined it last year due to the impact of COVID. One thing that has really struck me about this single event is that we have people from 88 countries represented. People from 88 countries united in the belief that tech is better with diverse women in it. We have a networking space, and I hope you'll take the opportunity to connect. It's actually one of my favorite things to do, and I hope we get a chance to meet. Our vision is of a world where diverse women are better represented as engineers and leaders in technology. Some of the ways you can engage in our mission and vision include our rich on-demand content available via our YouTube channel. It's constantly being updated with helpful talks and information. You can also join one of our 6 deep learning technical communities. We have an average of 5 free technical events every single day. So keep the momentum from this conference going by developing your skills and continuing to build your connections. I read an article yesterday that 26% of people are planning to change jobs after the pandemic. Your time is now. We have hundreds of companies with technical roles on our job board and great companies that are here today who are interested in connecting with you. I'd like to take a step back and reimagine impact. We're all here today investing in ourselves, but what does that mean at scale? Diverse women make up approximately 6.3 million technologists globally. So imagine, if by being a member of Women Who Code, investing in yourself, you end up receiving a $3,500 pay increase, that would make our annual market impact $1 billion. And our potential market impact is $22 billion. So I encourage you, make space for yourself to become 1 in 6 million, to generate that $22 billion of wealth for women and their families globally. I have some amazing people to acknowledge. This is Team Teal. We are a dedicated team whose diverse lived experiences reflect the communities we serve. And we have the honor of working towards this incredible mission every single day. I also want to introduce you to three people. Sasha, who started Women Who Code's meetup group back in 2011, and Zasmin, Michelle, and I, who envisioned the nonprofit that exists today. The collective work has become a global movement that hundreds of volunteers, members of Team Teal, advisors, and board members have helped shape and grow. So with that, I'm excited to announce Women Who Code has grown to serve 290,000 members globally. We would never have expanded this quickly without the volunteers who are both building and part of this community. I encourage you to connect with them and become one. So let's reimagine together. We know the tech industry is one of the most exciting high-growth industries that is shaping the future. You belong here. We need and want you to thrive, and together we will rise. Now, it's my great honor to welcome Shauna Gregory, Chief Program Officer. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you so much, Elena, for addressing the impact and scale of Women Who Code at a global level. Hello, everyone. My name is Shauna Gregory, and I am the Chief Program Officer at Women Who Code. And it is my honor to welcome you to Connect India. Last year was the 4th annual Connect India, but it was hosted virtually for the very first time. In case you missed it, I would like to recall some of my highlights from last year. I learned that Seema Nagar shared that she has over 100 patents and is considered a master inventor. 5 Women Who Code directors across India joined a panel on community, and we had a truly inspiring conversation from senior women in leadership. The sessions this year are exciting and innovative, just as they have been in the past. And I want to extend a huge thank you to all of our past and present speakers. I hope you enjoyed today's sessions. Connect India is made possible thanks to VMware. VMware has been a supporter of Women Who Code for many years and is a founding sponsor. The organization has supported our community, hosted this event in person for 3 years, and virtually for the last 2. We're so happy to work with them through important initiatives like Connect, and want to say thank you to the team for the years of support. One of the initiatives we work on jointly is VM Inclusion Tara. We're dedicated to helping women who are out of the workforce rejoin tech by providing skills training needed to stay relevant in the industry. Over 11,000 women have enrolled in this program, and at least 1,500 have re-entered the workforce. Our goal is to reach even more at 15,000. VM Inclusion Tara fits wonderfully with our mission to inspire women to excel in technology careers. It also resonates deeply with the theme of this conference today, building resilience in your career. To learn more about this amazing program and to ask questions live, I encourage you to visit Sita at the VM Inclusion Tara session. Elena has mentioned that we are celebrating 10 years of Women Who Code around the world. And I wanted to hone in on a few of our communities in India and celebrate their success. Today, there are 6 cities with Women Who Code networks in India, and collectively they have reached 15,000 members, which is a huge milestone we're celebrating today. The pandemic has encouraged these communities to collaborate even more. And in each city, there are teams of volunteers who are dedicating their time to support other women growing in their careers. I wanted to especially thank this team in Women Who Code Bangalore that are responsible for coordinating much of Connect India every single year. I would like to thank each and every one of them for their work on this event and the work that they do daily within their community. Please extend a congratulations to the team for executing such an amazing conference, and be sure to thank them if you get a chance to meet and networking. So even beyond the scope of this event, the team has worked across countries in India to expand technical knowledge. So they have led a community coach initiative to spread awareness about virtualization and cloud computing in Taipei, and they are about to do the very same thing with our Women Who Code Tokyo network. Elsewhere in India, our leaders in Chennai are planning to host a very exciting cloud series and have extended the invitation to anyone who would like to join. And I would like to announce that Husseina Begum is joining the Pune team as a director in the coming months. Please say congratulations to Husseina in the chat. She's currently coordinating a very exciting security series as well that is open to the public. We know that Women Who Code has made an impact on the lives of many people around the world, and I would like to invite you to hear from one. So Archana is one of our leadership fellows at Women Who Code, and I've asked her to speak about her experience starting her career with Women Who Code in Chennai.
Hi everyone, I'm Archana. I'm currently the Women Who Code Leadership Fellow. I help to co-lead both the Python and the cloud technical tracks at Women Who Code. And as a day job, I work as an AI engineer at Continental Singapore. So most of my work involves using deep learning techniques and also data engineering for automotive technologies. And my journey in deep learning started way back in 2017 in Chennai, India. I, like many others in my field, had learned machine learning through courses and use cases at work. At the start of my career, I used to attend most meetups at Women Who Code Chennai to just, listen to technical talks and expand my network and have a place to meet like-minded people, and which eventually led to me making good friends. But I never imagined it would mean more than that. Only right now, after 3 years into my career, I realize I need support and that encouragement being a woman in engineering. That is exactly what the community provides you, an inspiration and guidance for the next step in your career. I really want to thank this community and the entire Women Who Code team for driving our mission across the world to inspire women to excel in their technology careers. The community we are in causes a ripple effect, pushing for greater diversity and inclusion in the tech space. So all of us here deserve a huge applaud her for making a difference and rewriting the history in this field of engineering and technology.
Thank you, Archana, for sharing your story of career success. You've been such an inspiration to everyone that you've had a chance to work with. I want to extend and applaud her back to you for accepting a position to continue your work with us as a senior leadership fellow. Please give Archana a huge applaud her in the chat, and thank you again for sharing your story. I would love to invite Joey Rosenberg, Chief Product Officer, to join us on stage. Joey is going to share her knowledge and her wisdom and experience around building resilience in your career, and I'm very excited to hear from her. So please welcome Joey Rosenberg.
Thank you, Shauna, for that introduction, and hello, Women Who Code. It is an absolute honor to be here with you today at Connect India. The magic of this developer conference is our community. Whether we're in person or online, I'm always inspired by the way we come together to explore tech, to make meaningful connections, to share knowledge and expertise, and consider how we can reimagine our world and improve our industry. This is the power of community. We are in a special moment in our history where we get to reimagine everything and consider how we can be resilient for the future ahead. Today, I'm excited to share some of the ways that we are preparing our community to be future fit here at Women Who Code and helping technologists build staying power in the industry. Before I get into these opportunities, though, I wanted to take just a moment and share some of my own thoughts about career resiliency. When we talk about career paths, we often describe them as a straight line, something that has a beginning, a few steps along the way, and something with a grand finale. Well, I like to think of them more as a grand adventure, something to be explored, something to really go after. You might spend some time over here, hop over here for a little bit, spend some time over there. Maybe you'll go somewhere that you never dreamt you could go, or maybe you'll try something that you've never even heard of before to find out if you like it. And when you find a good fit, it starts to feel like home. Along the way, I've learned some important lessons. Number one, find thought partners. Thought partners are people who can really stretch your thinking. None of us can be experts at everything, and we all have different perspectives and experiences that make us uniquely us. So find thought partners who are willing to share that with you. I always know that I found a thought partner when we start to work on something and the end outcome is different than either of us had imagined, especially if we started with really different perspectives. Usually that's because we've unpacked it, we really listened to each other, and we built something that neither of us could have done alone. One of the thought partners I've met along my journey is Samaria Rooks. She is the Chief People and Inclusion Officer here at Women Who Code, and she's here with us today to share a few pro tips on building career resiliency. Please help me welcome Samaria to the stage.
Thank you so much, Joey. Hello, and welcome to Connect India. We are so excited that you decided to join us today. Again, I am Samaria Rooks. I am the Chief People and Inclusion Officer here at Women Who Code. When I think about career resiliency in the HR world, I think about 6 main points. First, being control, learning to distinguish between what you can control and what you can't. For example, you can't control how others act or behave, but you can control your actions and how you behave towards others. Focusing on what you can control will help you to ultimately develop your career and career resiliency. Then I think about feedback, seeking feedback and learn how to receive it, seeking advice on what you can improve on, gaining an understanding of situations and your role in it in another person's perspective of how you are being perceived is a valuable way to learn and grow. Networking, what you're doing right now, networking will help you to stay informed about jobs and opportunities and interact with like-minded individuals you can essentially learn and grow with. Staying positive. This is something that we tend to put in the back of our heads like, oh, I have a positive mindset, but really embodying that and staying positive, keeping a positive attitude, trying to keep a log of positive things that happen in your career. And when you're not feeling so positive, going back and read them. The next one is practicing self-care. This is something I cannot reiterate enough. We have to practice taking care of ourselves. Give yourself time for regular exercise, quality sleep, socializing, leisure activities. These activities are necessary for you to recharge. So please, please take care of you. And then last, but certainly not least, focus on the why. Create a plan detailing to yourself where you see yourself in 2 years, where you see yourself in 5, where you see yourself in 10, what you want to achieve. When you face setbacks, remember why you chose this path and accept that you will experience challenges during this journey, but ultimately it doesn't have to be the end. It can be the setup for a new beginning. So recapping, control, feedback, networking, staying positive, practicing self-care, and focus on the why. And all of these things together will help you to build a resilient career, and we'll continue to see you at these events. We are so excited that you have decided to join us, and welcome to Connect India. Have a great time. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Samaria, for sharing your advice with us. Right now, many of us can use a boost. In fact, 1 in 7 people around the world are actively trying to move into a new industry. And that is tough work. They are seeking opportunities that are flexible and considered future-proof, like tech. Many of you here today are probably considering a career move or know someone who is. In fact, by this time next year, some estimate that as many as half of all workers will have changed jobs around the world. This is why today I am thrilled to announce that Women Who Code is launching a new track, Women Who Code Career Nav. Career Nav will make tech more accessible and demystify what it means to transition into this industry, to build career resiliency and level up. It brings proven Women Who Code resources together to help you focus on your career in one place. Things like our job board, career newsletter, pro tips, and community events so that you can connect when you need it. As always, we'll be listening along the way to our community to make sure that we're including the resources that are the most valuable to you. At Women Who Code, we are also reimagining leadership. Women Who Code has always been about inspiring diverse technologists to excel in their careers. Today, women are being left behind and marginalized communities around the world are being disproportionately impacted. When diverse women are at the top of their organizations, it's more likely that their companies will reflect this diversity overall, and that bias will be identified and reduced from internal practices and hiring, and in the products that you use every day. Right now, that gap is widening. About a third of women feel stalled in their career and are thinking about leaving tech within the year. About half will actually leave by mid-career. Many of you, about 30%, are often the only woman in the room when surrounded by your technical peers. That feeling is exacerbated by intersectionality. At Women Who Code, we believe in making space for diverse voices. We believe that when you are part of a community in spaces like Connect, you can actually feel just how much you belong in this industry. We are committed to making sure that diverse women have access to the tools, resources, and network that can help them move up the ladder and into positions of power and influence that can shape their companies and our industry. We also know that a key rung on the leadership ladder continues to be ignored. While some gains have been made at the highest levels, we continue to see significant drop-off in representation of diverse people in the move up from individual contributor to the first level of leadership. Today, we're announcing key steps that can change this. First, I'm thrilled to announce the Women Who Code Leadership Accelerator. This is a cohort series that will bring community members together to expand their leadership practice around 8 key leadership mindsets designed specifically for technologists. Thanks to generous support from partners like VMware, this program opportunity will be made available to Women Who Code leaders around the world. We're also excited to extend an opportunity to help you own your story. We're reaching out to the community through resources like the Code Review and our social media channels to find out about your experiences and amplify your voice. One of the things that I believe make a true leader is living authentically, and we want to give you a platform to do that. At Connect Reimagine in June, Women Who Code's Chief Legal Officer and Brand Strategist, Kim Bennett, spoke about the power of bringing your authentic experiences and self forward in your career. I'd like to play an excerpt from her talk to bring those valuable lessons forward here today. Please help me welcome Women Who Code Chief Legal Officer and Brand Strategist, Kim Bennett.
I'm Kimberly Bennett, Chief Legal Officer and Brand Strategist here at Women Who Code. While we are still virtual, that doesn't take away from the level of connection that we have from being in a place where we can be in various time zones in different cities, different countries, different continents, and still enjoy the same content, reflect on the same conversations, and really experience the change that we're all going to have. This past year has been a year, right? It's brought me to meet new people like you, and it's brought me back in connection with people maybe I haven't seen in a while, and we were able to do that on a virtual platform like this. And that was all because of the biggest thing that happened in the last 100 years, which was a pandemic. And so as we reflect on where we're going, I just want to take a moment right now. I want to reflect on where we came from in the past year and even before that. Because 2020 was a year, and that pandemic definitely took us off the course that many of us had planned, whether that was a business, whether that was professional, or even our personal life. The pandemic had its ebbs and flows, and in fact, it's still happening, and we're experiencing it right now in this very moment. And so as vaccines are starting to pick up, we know as a world, this is still something we are experiencing and hoping to get through together as fast as possible. And that meant because of the pandemic, we had to change how we operated. It was Zoom everything, right? We were Zooming with our friends and our family, saying hello. Maybe you had a coffee like me, but we weren't just Zooming with our friends and family. We were also Zooming with our teammates. I call it Zoomapalooza because we were Zooming all the time. Zoom, 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 right? And as someone who's worked virtual for over a decade, I will tell you this year was different, and it still is different. And that's because we had to learn better boundaries, thinking about moving into finding that right flow, being able to really understand what matters most to us, because the pandemic didn't just shed light on some of the issues that were happening in how we operated in our world, but also how we operated in our personal lives. While we might be in Zoom overload, now is the time to continue to take action, to continue to move forward. Because to do the work that is required, we know that after pausing and reflecting and reviewing what worked and what didn't, and how we lived and how we educated our younger generations and how we wanted this world to be, is that we needed to now reimagine where this world should be and how we showed up for that world. And that's what reimagining, at least, is for me. So today, I have 3 calls to action for you. The first call to action I have for you is to own your story. And why do I say that? Let's reflect last year, the pandemic. And maybe for you, you were already in this process. But last year, when we were at Connect Digital, and Joey from our team at Women Who Code, she made this statement. It resonated with me so much. And it's that people cannot focus on their livelihoods until they feel safe and able to do so in their lives. And so over this past year, I know this has held true for probably every single one of us in different degrees for different reasons. But if you don't feel safe in your life, how can you feel safe in your livelihood? And so that means that you have to show up and own your full story, because your story is needed. Your story is necessary. In fact, we know when we're doing this work that diverse voices, inclusive organizations, places that bring a sense of belonging, bring about more impactful change into the work they do for their customers, for their clients, and for their communities. It's not just one story we're owning, it's an intersectional story about the experiences across race, gender, socioeconomic status, those that have been oppressed by others, but then stood up and fought back and owned their story. As we continue to own our stories, as you continue to own your story and reimagining what it means to do the work that we're doing so that you can come with that perspective, the power in that will allow for you to create larger impact in your day-to-day life. As you're owning your story and recognizing the perspectives that you're bringing to the conversation, to the challenges, to the problems in which we're facing that we're trying to solve for our clients, for our customers, our communities, we can design the change that is needed to do the big, bold work that is required to move our continents, to move our world forward, to deal with this pandemic. Because technology is powerful. Technology changes things. Technology moves and accelerates momentum, because we can create the code, we can build the product, we can lead the team that designs the change. And even in our community, I know you can think about your coworkers, your friends, your colleagues that are doing it right now in their roles in their organizations, or even in their roles in their communities. And we have great examples right now in our volunteers in our community that while their day-to-day doesn't deal with the pandemic, they have the power to activate volunteers in India to help provide resources to aid with the response to the pandemic. And we know, and as we're watching and as we are praying for India, that how needed is that? Because you don't have to wait for the change to happen. You can design that change. You can do it now in this very moment. And whatever position you hold, any power that you have, you can bring intention to what you're doing to create the impact that you want. That's the power of what it means to reimagine. It's not to stay stuck in what it was before, but to say, how can I step into it right now with the resources I currently have to do better, to be better, and to act day in, day out better to achieve a bigger, bolder goal. And then my final call to action for you is to take imperfect action. If you heard me talk before, you know how I feel about imperfect action. If we stay stuck in perfection, we will not move forward. And in fact, we go back to Stonewall or any of the protests from this past year in the United States on racial justice, in fact, across the world, because it didn't just stop in the United States. If we waited for the perfect time to do the necessary work, would we be where we are today? No. And does that mean everything's going to happen in the exact moment the way we anticipated? No. But does that not mean that that action we've taken is progress? Yes, it is. Whether or not it succeeds, because all of that progress is feedback. All of that failure is feedback. Taking imperfect action is meaning we're not staying stuck. We're continuing down that journey to achieve our mission. Because again, we don't need to wait for the world to catch up to do the work that is necessary. And I think the thing that we all can reflect on this past year is that we could not have designed any of the things that have happened, but we kept on moving forward. We kept on thinking about how to work differently, how to connect with our family members and do a birthday party differently. For my niece, how to graduate college virtually. For me, how to celebrate my 20-year reunion virtually. For me to connect and think about working with and designing a fully remote team. And while that wasn't necessarily new for everyone, it still is new for so many of us. And how do we still design and achieve the impact that we want? We take imperfect action. We learn what worked and what didn't. We move forward and we continue that iteration. And all that is because we don't have to wait for the world to catch up, because we can do that right now with our current resources. We can reimagine what it looks like to work, what it looks like to find the right balance in our lives, what it looks like to establish community. We can reimagine everything, everything. Because the path we are on as an organization, the path you are on as an individual, the path we are on together to change our industry, maybe even change the world, has yet to be realized. So the work still continues. And the one thing that's true after this past year, and I know for us at Women Who Code, is that our mission is more important than ever. It's that reimagining the possibility, reimagining the impact that we could create, reimagining what it looks like to take big, bold moves and to create the change we want to see one step at a time, one community at a time, one organization at a time, one engineer at a time, to bring and lift each other up together. That's what reimagining looks like.
Thank you again, Kim, for sharing your wisdom and for helping us to unpack what we've all been experiencing. Now, before I close, I am very excited to share one more Women Who Code update. In addition to new program, at Women Who Code, we are also reimagining community and what that means in the context of the intense digital transformation that we've all experienced in this last year and a half. I cannot wait to see you in person again, but in the meantime, we've learned so much about how far we can go to embrace technology to keep us connected, and we want to keep it going. We spent the last 10 years really listening to what members need, and the last 2 years really accelerating our digital transformation. One thing that we've consistently heard is that it's not always easy for members to find the resources that you need at the moment you need them, and that you'd prefer to be able to customize the information that's available to you. For example, if you're a mobile engineer, we've heard you say that it would be most helpful to be able to have quick access to mobile resources like events, mobile coding resources, and job opportunities. Today, I'm super excited to share a preview with you of the new Women Who Code member dashboard. This is going to respond to all of those needs, and it's currently in development. Okay, drum roll, please, in the chat. And here is a first preview of this mobile dashboard. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you today. Now, everything that we build is driven with user feedback. So if you're interested in learning about any of the programs you've heard me talk about today, or giving feedback on our member dashboard as we iterate on the prototypes, please visit the expo and drop your interest in our member booth. We'll be sure to get in touch with you as developments roll out. I'm looking forward to everything that is ahead of us. I'm excited to reimagine our world, how we tech, where we work, how we balance our lives, and what we demand for our communities and of the leaders designated to guide and protect them. The future is exciting, and I have immense gratitude for this community and for the opportunity to make space for the important conversations and connections coming up throughout this conference. I'd like to take one more opportunity to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, VMware, and the incredible volunteer team that is a force behind this conference who made it possible for us to be here today. Everyone have an amazing Connect India. See you soon.